Okay, welcome to another episode of Chips and Salsa. I'm Jerry,
I'm Krobe.
and today I'm live here at Black Hat, and Krobe is not, obviously, but he's got his black hat on. And I am here today with Andreas and Pietro. You guys want to introduce yourselves, where you're from, and what your field of study are?
Yes, so I'm Pietro Borello from Sapienza University of Rome, and I'm a PhD student there, working on architectural and microarchitectural attacks.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm Andreas. Also, I'm from TU Graz University, so from Graz, Austria, and I'm also doing my PhD there, and also in the fields of microarchitectural attacks. And yeah, that's a great.
Yeah, so you guys are doing a talk tomorrow. What's the title of the Black Hat talk?
Yeah, so the talk is AEPIC Leak, and it's about leaking, architectural leaking and initialized data from the microarchitecture.
From the microarchitecture. And how long have you guys been studying this particular issue?
So I would say it started when I was visiting TU Graz University, and it was a 3-month visit, and we wrapped up the work in that period of time.
Yeah, so I guess the hot part was in December.
Yeah.
And submission was 1 month later.
Yeah.
So.
So do you guys want to give us a quick high level overview of what it is you found, and
Sure.
What is the result of those findings?
It's fine. So basically, we discovered that on most recent Intel CPUs, there is a flow that is in contrast and meltdown spectrum. There's an architectural flow, and basically CPUs leaks data from the AEPIC MMIO region. That is this special region for the AEPIC, and the AEPIC is this component in the CPU that manages interrupts. And you can program and query that with an MMIO region. And this region is configured wrong at the CPU level and leaks data architecturally.
But also only on newer CPUs, so we assume something has changed in the past at some point. And yeah.
So is this your first major research project, gentlemen? Or have you done other work in your studies to date?
I was actually involved a lot in this Platypus, so energy side channels, power side channels, in some sense doing from software. So this was my kickoff, I would say, to research, where I started with my master thesis. And then it only got more abstract in some sense. And then I focused a lot on fault attacks, and then we had this AEPIC Leak.
Yes.
Platypus. So you were involved in Platypus. Who came up with the name?
The name. That one. Well, that's always the hardest part to do, I guess, and always the latest part we do. And then we suddenly had someone's suggestion we should search for animal names, and we found Platypus, which can sense electricity with his floss or something like that. And so okay, perfect name for that.
I thought so too. I mean, I had to look that up with all the electromagnetic stuff or whatever
they sense
in their beaks. I'm like,
at first I thought it was a joke that this animal can sense electricity, but it actually.
Yeah. So your talk is August 10th.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. At which time again?
2:30 p.m.
2:30 p.m. And obviously we're recording this video ahead of time, but we're going to post it right after your talk. So what is it you hope to the audience to take away from your talk?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I would hope to for the audience to have this feeling that nowadays CPUs are software. So basically they are hardware, obviously, but CPUs are software. So it's, I think, really probable that in the future, we will see a lot of vulnerabilities that affect software also in CPUs, since they are growing more complex and more complex. So it's really hard to make it correct software. And since you write CPUs firmware and microcode stuff in software, it is the same bugs that you will find there.
Yeah, we did a video last week with Alex Matrosif from Binarly. I don't know if you know who he is, but and Vincent Zimmer from Intel, who's also a firmware expert. But they were talking about how the EFI code is more lines of code now than the Windows kernel.
Wow.
Over
Yeah.
6 million lines of code.
Wow.
So it is a big piece of software that folks need to pay more attention to. I mean, at Intel, obviously we sponsor and fund a lot of academic research because you guys are onto this cutting edge stuff, and who else in the world is really looking that deep at the architecture, except for companies like Intel, and so we think it's great.
We think it's fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what would you say your experience has been like working with Intel to report this issue? And
So you mean on the incident response side?
yeah.
Yeah, really great. I would personally say, because from the Platypus side, I get into the incident response. I wasn't there the whole time because I was a master student back then. But from the AEPIC Leak incident response, I'm amazed. It was really clean and really nice. We also got a lot of feedback from your guys, and
Yeah, I agree with all.
Yeah, like I said, it's never our intention to shut down research. We actually encourage it. We have our various bug bounty programs. We're trying to encourage more research in this area. And I don't know if you guys have heard of our Project Circuit Breaker expansion to our bounty program. And through that, we're trying to help educate researchers who may typically research in the software area. How to research at the firmware level. Just because we don't think there's enough people looking at that. So what are your plans after school? You want to go into work doing this kind of stuff for companies like Intel or others?
Yeah, that's an art question, since like I love doing research, and now I'm almost at the point where I have to decide, like, do I want to do research in the industry? Do I want to stay and doing research in academia? I don't have an answer yet, so I'm trying to understand what's the best path for me.
and similar for me, it's like currently a lot fighting with academia to get stuff published. It's always like a burden to do, but yeah, I have not decided yet if I want to continue which direction. I know that I want to continue researching on let's say modern CPUs, because that's the part I like. It's like the stuff I like the most.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hard question.
Well, yeah, but it must be nice to know that you have options, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think you guys are in good position to do whatever you want, right?
So aside
Yeah.
from kind of deciding where you want to take your careers in the future, what's next for you both? Do you have any research after this you can hint at to share with us where you're going to go next?
Good question.
Is this an area? Are you going to continue to look at this APIC area, or are there other areas within the CPU architecture you guys are?
So for me especially, I'm a lot focused on SGX, so the trusted execution environments. I for a long time wanted to extend a bit of my view, because I'm more focused really on Intel SGX to AMD SEV and other trust execution environments.
Yes.
And I also want to take a look at TDX at some point if I get finally hardware to do so. But yeah, something like that. So I'm always a bit on the trusted execution environment side, because I like the privileged thread models. It gives you a lot of options. I don't have a concrete topic I'm currently focusing on. I just want to finish the talks and Black Hat and Usenix. And yeah, so I'm currently more on traveling than research.
Yeah, and same for me. I think I will still deepen this topic. Like I want to deepen in particular the stuff that Intel released like a few months ago, I think, about MMIO leakage.
Yeah.
I think that's incredibly interesting, and I want to look more into that.
Well, good. We look forward to getting some reports and some new logos, and
Yes.
And I guess we need to figure out how to get you some TDX hardware, right?
Yeah,
when it's available.
Sure.
Grob, any final thoughts?
No, I really appreciate you gentlemen coming and sitting with us today, sharing a little bit about your talk and kind of your experiences going up through academia and interacting with the industry. we really appreciate the research and appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.